Something guys, so I'm back with another video on this channel, and I know this channel is a reaction channel based, but I thought I'd do this video, a solo video, not reacting to anything, not sharing my screen or nothing like that. I just want to talk because as somebody who's late, going on late into the 30s, I've seen this topic fly around a bit, not in my face a lot kind of thing, but it's been kind of like here and there. And I thought I'd maybe just use this video to talk about it. So this topic, as you can tell by the title, it's based on being over 30 with no kids and single. And obviously in this case, as a man, some people look at it a certain way. You get people, well, it depends on which gender you're talking to. You're talking to a man, you're talking to a woman. Because if you talk to a man, it varies. Because if a guy finds out, just general conversation that, you have no kids and you're single, especially if you have no kids, some may see it as, well, you don't have any kids, you're single, live your life, don't be in a rush, you know. The best thing, put the card down that, it's, even though I'm glad I've got my family, I was rushed into it. You don't want to be rushed into it. That's basically what I'm getting from it when guys say that, if you don't have kids, don't be in a rush to have any yet because enjoy life. You know what I mean? That tells me you didn't get to enjoy yours, basically. That's what you need. You get those kind of people. And then you get ones that think that everything revolves around you need to have a woman in your life, you need to have a girlfriend in your life, you need to have access to regular pum in your life, kind of thing. You get people like that. And as for women, it's mainly the case of they might see that there's something wrong with you as a man who's over 30 with no kids. They might see it as maybe your sperm don't work. Mainly, deep down in women's head, they'll see it as, why did no woman want to commit to you? There must be something wrong with you because no woman's wanting to commit to you at all. And it's like, men are demonized if we have kids all over the place and we just can't control ourselves. We just have to have sex with every woman that we see, and if she gets pregnant, it is what it is. You get demonized for doing that. Then when you're the complete opposite, which, judging by how the first guy I just described is crucified, you should be thankful at least that there is somebody available in this world who's a man who's over 30, mature, that has chosen not to have any kids, at least as yet, compared to I have them all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that it's either you have them all over the place or you be in my position. I'm not saying that. It's just that there's also plenty of guys out here who are single, but are single fathers. Why does nobody ask, why did no woman stick around to commit to you? Why is nobody asking why are you putting kids all over the place? You see, you'll get looked at differently. If I was a single father, it'd get looked at differently. Being over 30 and single, it get looked at differently. But when you don't have the kids, that's where the line's drawn, which is interesting. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you don't have any kids and you're over 30, it's seen as nobody wants to commit to you. Why? That's a bit weird that you don't have any kids. But then if you're over 30 and you have a few kids at least already, oh, that's normal. But you could not have a wife, which I'm going to get onto the whole marriage thing as well. You could not have a wife, and nobody sees anything. Nobody looks at somebody who's a single mother or father. Well, mainly single fathers, really, because it's women that kind of evolve life goals around being married more than men. But nobody looks at the single father and is like, "You're not married." That's a bit weird. You got kids, mate, and you're not married. What's wrong with you? Nobody looks at it that way. There's only something wrong with you if you don't have any kids. And it's like, why don't I have any kids? Well, there's various reasons as to why a man over 30, that's single, not having kids, doesn't have, is in that position. Could be that he chose to be that way. Could be that maybe he's tried and it's just not worked. Maybe, he's just been a virgin all his life. Maybe. Like, there's various reasons. Yeah. My reasons are I don't want it. I don't want it. And if I'm going to be completely, transparent, I've not yet, I'm 36. I've not yet in my life met any woman that I thought I'd give her kids. Never. I've not looked at anybody and thought she's worth it. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I'm not trying to say I'm better than certain people. I'm not here to say that. I'm just saying that I haven't met what I would describe as what I'd want us who I would describe, the type of person I would describe that I would want to give kids to. I haven't met that. In my world, that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like there's different criteria of what men want, what type of person that how they might have a plan of how they want their kids to be raised. It could be from plans, it could be from all sorts of homeschooling or anything like that. It could be various things. And some people have that planned, and if they don't see it as well, I'm either not in a position to make it happen, or like I said, I've never met a person that could aid in making that happen. Then it's like, well, what will people say? Well, stay single then, don't have any kids then if X, Y, and Z. And that's exactly what people like me are doing, but then we get looked at as, well, there's something wrong here. Excuse me if I'm not an accidental father, like a lot of people out here. Excuse me that, I wasn't unlucky with all the times I've had sex and whatever, that I wasn't unlucky that a woman got pregnant and was like, I'm keeping it and this, that, and the other. And then, oh, well, you're going to have to be a father now because I'm pregnant. Excuse me if I've been fortunate enough to be like, well, because I'm not going to sit here and say every single time I've had sex, I've used a condom, because that's not true. But at the same time, you can get a guy that has used condoms every time he's had sex and still get a woman pregnant because accidents happen. You can get a guy that's never done it, never used a condom, and he hasn't got a woman pregnant, or if he has, maybe she terminated it or whatever. Yeah, these things happen. But excuse me that I'm not an accidental father, because that's what one thing about me as well is, with the position that I'm currently in right now, is I'm glad that I'm not an accidental father like a lot of people, which ties into the first point of when I said you'll get guys that will say, oh, if you don't have any kids, don't be in a rush, live your life, blah, blah, blah. I love my kids, but, if I could have done things differently, AKA, I would have had these kids later on down the line in my life, because I don't feel that I've really lived my life enough. That's what a lot of guys, that's the position a lot of guys are in. Yeah? Accidental fathers. She got pregnant and she said she was keeping it. Yeah? That's not what I want. That's not the path. And I'm glad I'm not on the path. Yeah? It's not the path I want to be. I enjoy being on my own. I enjoy being on my own. I enjoy my own company. I just enjoy everything about not having anything tied down. And when I think of all the guys out there, there's plenty of fathers out there that love to be in my kind of position where I can do whatever I want whenever I want, and I've got nobody to answer to. I've got no dependence. Yeah, but they're in a position where, well, I'm a father now, and most of them are accidental fathers. They didn't plan on the pregnancy right there and then. Yeah, they would have liked it to have happened later on down the line. Yeah, accidental fathers, I call them. Yeah, wish that they could have the life I have right now, type of fathers. They're glad that they've got what they've got, but if they could have chose, and I didn't want to be in that position where that could be, really. I mean, the perks of being single is not having to worry about lights gone off because the TV is gone off. The perks of being in the position I'm in, or being single, is that I don't have to worry about, you know, well, if she gets pregnant, then I might have to move house, move into a bigger place. I might have to do all these adjustments because now she is going to have a child with me, kind of thing. I'm glad I'm not in that position. Now, speaking of marriage, that I was going to get into, is nobody finds it weird that you're in this position or similar position, but you have a child at least, and you're not married. When it used to be that it's marriage then kids, which is what, yeah, that's what it used to be. But now these days, it's a case of the kids come first, and then the marriage comes later. I'm not somebody who is, oh, I want to get married one day kind of thing. Yeah. I'm not against the concept of marriage. I ain't against the concept. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, there's only so much people can explain as to what's the difference between me and my girlfriend now and then me and my girlfriend and now we're married kind of thing. You know what I mean? See, it all that got taken away when women were having kids out of wedlock. You know what I mean? You literally devalue the purpose of marriage, having kids out of wedlock. And I'm not trying to say that women that have children out of wedlock are bad people or anything like that. I'm not saying none of that. But doing that, you've basically made marriage almost pointless. Like, what incentive now? What's the incentive of getting married and you've already given the person children? What's the incentive now? Apart from um some financial benefits, you know, for being a married couple kind of thing, which ties into the whole marriage is a financial contract or whatever it is that people say. You know what I mean? Hopefully, people in the comments that view this video can give their inputs and everything like that. Of course, that'd be rude. But yeah, the if women were at the stage where I'm not giving you kids unless you marry me, then you've given men an incentive to want to marry you because well, after the marriage comes the kids. But if you've then given them the kids, now what marriage becomes is something that you just want to do for the most part. Yeah, I'm not trying to paint the picture that there isn't any guys that want to get married because there is. There's guys that do want to get married. It's just that I think women that are more, you know, I want to get married. I want to be in the dress, da da da, and everything like that. And it's like the incentive. I I see less of an incentive if you've already given the person children. In my opinion, I think it's backwards. That's my personal opinion. You lot might not agree. That's my personal opinion. If a woman already has children for me, yeah, the marriage part it just becomes it's a bonus for her then because she has always dreamt of having that day of being married. But then you get couples where they've got children, they've got family already, but they're not married, but they think marriage is a big step. And it's like, how does it come that marriage is a big step if you've already given the guy children? And marriage is a big step. The biggest step is giving the man children. That's the big step. But it's all backwards now. But again, if you're unmarried, you're over 30 and no kids, yeah. Well, single over 30, no kids. People see that as weird. But if I had kids, but I wasn't married, people don't see it as people don't see they don't see it as the same way as, you know, not having any kids at all because kids is a main factor now. Yeah. But if I was married, over 30, and I was married with no kids, then it's a case of, well, when's it going to happen? You know, is you going to have kids soon? How long have you been married? Is the kids coming soon? But if I'm over 30 with kids, not married, that's normal. but I'm over 30, single, no kids, that's weird. You know what I mean? But if I'm over 30, single, with at least one child, well, you know, it is what it is. But I've never been married. Nobody sees the weird side of that. So all I'm saying now is, if you're like me, you're over 30 with no kids, and you know, well, you're not married, no kids, you're single. Don't let people think that there's something wrong with you, because, fam, like I said, there's you might be a person that's surrounded by friends who are all married and have kids and whatever, yeah. And it might seem like they're all living this happy ever after life, when secretly deep down there's quite a large chunk of them probably that wish that they were in your kind of position, where you don't have to answer to anybody. Everything you do is on your own accord. You can move wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. Free agent lifestyle, as you know, CGA, Coach Greg Adams, as he talks about the free agent lifestyle. Yeah, you can go places and you don't have to ask the wife. You have to see about the children. You don't have to. Now, I'm not saying to you, I'm not here to say never get married, never get a relationship. I'm not saying that. You do what you want to do. I'm just saying, don't feel like you have to then find yourself a wife as soon as you can and have kids as soon as you can, so you can keep up with your friends. You know what I mean? Don't let it be that you're not happy until you have what your friends have. Yeah, because you can be more than happy. Yeah, being on your own, or whatever it is you're doing right now, you could be happy with that. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, this wasn't to be a long video. I didn't even use any sound bites, no nothing. This is just purely me talking. So yeah, anyways, like the video, share, comment, subscribe, hype the video. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Like I said, if you're happy on your own, don't let anybody make you feel like, you know, as a man, because there's a difference between a woman over 30 in my position than a man in my position over 30, no kids. There's a difference. But I'm not here to talk about women that are over 30 with no kids, unmarried. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm only talking about, as a man. So as a man, yeah, don't feel like you have to rush into anything just to please nobody. Thankfully, I don't have the kind of family that's knocking down the doors of when you're gonna get married, why you why you give me any grandchildren, blah blah blah. I don't have that kind of family. Yeah, I have siblings and everything. No, nobody's like that. But some of you will be watching this video. You have people like that in your life that are knocking down doors, talking about when you're gonna have children, and as if there's a time span on men when we can have kids for the rest of our life. You know what I mean? We're not women where the clock's ticking. That's not us. So, again, as men, if you want to live the free agent lifestyle, let's call it, yeah, you carry on living it. Don't feel that you're missing out, because you know you ain't missing out. Arguably, the ones, arguably the ones that are married, or just have kids or whatever, arguably they're the ones missing out more than you, because you know, well, it depends. The ones that talk about how, oh well, you know, if you don't have kids, don't be in a rush. Those kind of fathers, yeah, yeah, they're the ones that know that they've missed out on the free agent lifestyle, at least for the period they wanted before they had children. Whereas the ones that see it as, this is the goal I wanted, you know, this, that, and the other, they're going to see it differently. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.